bear with me here. I'm going to try to do a voiceover for this video. So I finally finished my van build, if a van build can ever really be considered finished. I've already thought of a few things I'd like to add. My van is a 2001 Ford E350 Cutaway with a unicell body. It's the Aerocell model. It was a bread delivery truck for a bakery down in the suburbs of Boston. It was well maintained, and it had 298,000 miles on it when I bought it. There are three things that I love about the van itself. Its quirky shape, the awesome skylight in the roof, and the huge rear door. So those are the three things I really like about the van. But the most awesome feature of my build is something I'll be showing you shortly. In the cab, I built a platform which covers the passenger seat, with a center console platform as well. My Schipperke, Wiggles, who goes on trips with me, loves this platform. He has a ton of room to move around, and he can see out the window and the windshield, something he couldn't do without this platform. Excuse the electrical tape holding wires. I haven't finished running in through the dash yet. I brought Wiggles up to take a few photos and a bit of video. He was so excited to be at the van door, bouncing up and down, but unable to jump high enough to get in. As soon as I put him in and attached the leash, he laid right down, ready for a trip. He was pretty disappointed when we didn't actually go anywhere. I made window covers and a windshield cover out of Reflectix with the material on one side and hemmed all the way around with double fold bias tape. I also cut mats for the steps out of a doormat and adhered it to the step with spray adhesive. It helps to keep some of the sand out. Entering the van from the back on the driver's side, I have a small cabinet which contains the fridge and the oven stove combo. I love the Camp Chef oven stove combo. There are just too many things I enjoy cooking that requires an oven. I keep it tied down with ratchet straps, and it's easy enough to lift and take outside to cook. But since I have it right next to the large rear door, I can cook inside with the door open, out of the rain or the wind, without need of an exhaust fan. The fridge is a 30-quart Alpi-Cool. It's a bit of an off-brand, but it works great and it uses very little power. It's on a drawer platform, and its location at the back door makes it handy to grab a drink from outside without having to step up into the van. Moving forward, the second cabinet contains my sink with shelves above. The water to the sink is provided via a foot pump, which is mounted through the front of the cabinet down at the floor level. Inside the cabinet, I have a 6-gallon container for fresh water, and I use an old kitty litter container for the gray water. This way I can see when the gray water is getting full without fear of it overflowing. My 11-pound propane tank fits perfectly into an old milk crate, which is held in place with bungees. I have an additional 7 1-gallon jugs with fresh water, which gives me a total of 13 gallons of fresh water on board. Another old milk crate, both of which I picked up at my town dump, contains all my cooking pots and pans and other various kitchen gear. On the shelf directly under the sink, I have a couple of shallow bins with cutlery, utensils, spare batteries, a few tools, and other bits and bobs. Moving forward from the sink cabinet, there's my couch, which is actually a jackknife sofa that I removed from my big camping trailer during a remodel of it a few years back. I cut the frame and cushions down by 15 inches to make the sofa the width of a full-size bed. There's a huge storage area underneath, which is accessed by lifting up the sofa seat. The over cab storage area is fairly large, but I won't close it off. I use it to toss the decorative pillows when I go to bed, for coats and other bulky things, and all my Reflectix panels. There's another reason why I won't close it off, and I'll show you that later. I picked up the neat little organizer at Daiso during my van trip to New York about a month ago. It hangs on the back of the passenger seat, and it's great for cables and cords where I can reach them to charge things while driving. Flashlights, sunglasses, that sort of stuff, and it's a great place to put my reading glasses and phone when I go to bed. I have two rechargeable fans, an 8-inch, that's this one, and a 5-inch, both rechargeable by USB, and they easily last all night long without running out of power. In fact, usually I have about 25% power left in the morning when I shut them off. And there's the 5-inch. I use a Jackery 240 for power, which is great for me. On the passenger side of the van, there's a cabinet which has a beautiful top that my son made. He routed out feather shapes and then sealed the feathers in with various different colors of resin. And then the cabinet doors are from a panel that my daughter painted in scenic design class in college. I still need to sand down the edges of the resin countertop though, so it's a bit rough looking on the edge right there. The bottom section of the cabinet will hold 8 of those collapsible square cloth bins. I don't have them all in there right now, but it'll hold 8 with some room left over as well. And I use those bins for clothing and for food. Forward of that cabinet is the Murphy bed section of the bed. My toilet sits on a shelf on drawer glides, which is held closed by a bungee cord. I love my little toilet. I wouldn't be without it. And I don't know, people who say that they smell obviously aren't, I don't know, they're either not sealed well or they're not using it correctly, because literally mine has no smell. So the sliding doors in front of the toilet there, that houses things like my little 12-volt shop vac, the dog's toys and dog food, legs for the Murphy bed, and the screen window inserts, and I'll show you those in a minute. In this video here, I'm not actually done with the ceiling yet. Later on, I'll show you how I finished off that skylight. So I made the screen inserts so that I could have the windows down farther than you would normally leave windows down if you were trying to stop someone from just reaching in and unlocking the door. It allows plenty of airflow for wiggles if I'm just leaving them in the van for, you know, like a quick trip into the grocery store or something. I haven't actually decided if I like them or not. They work fine. They're just kind of a little bit of a pain to put in. I may end up installing some kind of metal grating over the whole windows. When the jackknife sofa is pulled out and the Murphy bed section is dropped down, I have a full-size bed. I know that looks really lumpy right now. It's actually very comfortable. But I gave my foam topper to my daughter. She is actually living in her van in New York City right now, and hasn't finished her build yet, so she's using the sofa part of her van, so I gave her the foam topper to use. There's 3 legs that support the Murphy bed section when it's down. I have 2 curtains between the cab and the back. The first set, which you can't see here, which is they're the set in front of this, is a set of thermal blackout curtains. And then I have a shower curtain on the back side of the van, which is that barn door look, because that stops the dog hair from sticking to the thermal back curtains. And then also, if I have the thermal back curtains open, or closed rather, and the thermal's open and the shower curtain closed, it allows privacy but plenty of light. So my dog platform comes out in like less than 5 seconds. You just saw how quick that comes out. So if I need to have another passenger with me, that's easily done. And then the platform can just slide in between the Murphy bed cushions and the wall. Now, when the Murphy bed is dropped down, but the cushions are left up, and I swivel the passenger seat around, I have a table, desk, whatever. It's kind of convenient. Probably won't do that too terribly often, just because it's easier to just leave the dog platform in all the time, but I do have that capability at least, if I need it. So here's the really fun part, and the best part of my whole van build. With just one socket and one driver, I can remove everything in my van, and we're going to see how long it takes. So first I remove the 2 rods that hold the fridge door closed when traveling, and just pull out the fridge right off the drawer. Next, I take the ratchet straps off that are holding down the stove. And those ratchet straps are really just on there for when I'm traveling anyway. I don't know if you can hear my cat purring in the background here. And then remove the oven and stove. The oven and stove fridge cabinet is held in with just 3 3-inch long screws. And I remove those, and it would be obviously a whole lot faster with a drill, but I wanted to do this manually for the time transformation. So once those 3 screws are all removed, I just pull out the cabinet. From the sink cabinet, I remove the gray water container, my propane tank, and the freshwater container. I pull out the rugs, the Murphy bed legs, the screen inserts, all that stuff. Next comes the jackknife sofa cushion, and then the 2 Murphy bed cushions, and then the jackknife sofa back cushion. Then there's the bin that's down underneath the jackknife sofa that I keep all my bedding in, and then a wooden lock box that I use. And then the whole jackknife sofa comes out. There's 3 screws to remove that. Take out the toilet, and then 2 screws to take out the Murphy bed section. Actually, technically it's 2 nuts. 2 nuts on the Murphy bed, 2 nuts on the, 3 nuts on the jackknife sofa. Next, I take out the resin countertop because that isn't actually attached yet to the cabinet. I need help for the next two pieces, and that's the food clothing cabinet and the sink cabinet. I have taken them out before by myself, but it's pretty awkward and it's kind of an accident waiting to happen. So I figured for the video, safety first. And then boom, the entire cabinet, the entire camper is now back to a cargo van. And if I don't want to ruin the floor because I'm carrying cargo, I take out the wheel well covers, and then we pull out the 3 floor sections. And once those 3 floor sections are pulled out, I can easily cut some cheap plywood to put down instead of using my nice stained polyurethaned birch plywood flooring. So let's see how long all this took. There's that 3rd floor section. And we are at under 21 minutes. That's pretty amazing, I think. From a full camper van to a full cargo van in under 21 minutes. I don't think there's too many camper vans that can lay claim to something like this, and I really don't think most can even be converted back into a cargo van. Reverse the whole process, and she's back into a camper van again. Obviously it takes a little bit longer from that, but really not much longer. It's a pretty quick process, actually. Wait, what's this? Okay, it just keeps going and going and going and going. I have my 8.5-foot long kayak in my van, and it's pretty much completely out of the way. It's a little awkward for me to get up there, but I can do it on my own, which is very important since I'm traveling on my own. Pretty awesome though, huh? So the paddles and the seat back I can store in the area under the jackknife sofa, along with my life vest and Wiggles life vest. Sorry for the shakiness of the camera and the haze. Haze is because it was really early in the morning before work that I filmed this, and the shakiness is because I didn't have the phone on the gimbal at the time. Nighttime in my van is magical. I have dozens of LED fairy lights installed in the ceiling. They give off plenty of light for most tasks at night in the van. There's also a string of LED fairy lights on the underside of the bottom shelf on each cabinet. Still wasn't done with the framing on that skylight yet when I filmed this. My 5-inch fan also has a light in it with 2 light levels, high and low. And for more light over the sink or something like that, I have a clip-on music stand light, which puts off a whole lot of light. Obviously, I need to remember where the switch is for it. So it gives off a lot of light. And there's, I think, I want to say 4 levels of lighting for that one. It lasts absolutely forever. Several days of several hours of using it, and it still has power. It's amazing. I can clip it anywhere. The clip is actually weighted though as a stand, so it will sit anywhere as well, which is really useful because I can literally use it anywhere I might need it in the van. And then finally I finished the framing around the skylight. I used indoor-outdoor carpet, and I attached it with spray adhesive. And then I made a Reflectix cover with material on one side, hemmed with double fold bias tape, and I sewed the hook part of Velcro all the way around on the back side, on the Reflectix side, so that it sticks to the carpet. And the only time I've really noticed that the van is hot inside is heat coming down through that skylight. The rest of the van stays pretty cool, and so now that I have that Reflectix panel built, I'm hoping it cuts out all heat. So Wiggles really does enjoy being in the van. He's quite happy even being leashed in, which I need to do because otherwise he'll run off. But he has a clear view out the back door when it's open, and he loves that. But he's also just as happy looking out the window on his little platform there. So my van has a ton of floor space. It never feels crowded or cramped, even with 2 people in there. I have gone camping with 2 people, myself and my daughter, a couple times. But mostly it's just me and Wiggles, so there's plenty of room. Thanks very much for watching my video of my van tour. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below. I'd be happy to hear anything, and I'll answer all your questions about it. So again, thanks very much for watching, and you have a great evening.